Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing today? Happy Sunday. Today is a good day. Today has been a good day so far. You know Sundays are my favorite day of the week. It is currently, it just turned, because I looked down, it was 3:59, and now it is 4 o'clock. Just turned. And it is a beautiful day in Indianapolis. Let's do a temperature check. It's got to be close to like 45 or 50 today. Maybe even warmer than that. I don't know. We'll see. Bum, 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 bum. I'm waiting for the Weather Channel to load. Oh my god, it's 58 and sunny today. It is beautiful. And we just got back from brunch. And after brunch, we went to the grocery store. And I got all kinds of healthy stuff. I got bananas and cottage cheese. And I got all kinds of healthy stuff. So, got a bunch of stuff like that, fruits and vegetables and all that kind of stuff. And gonna make some smoothies this week and all that kind of stuff. And then I'm gonna vlog now. And then I'm waiting for a call from a friend, but we'll get into that in just a second. And then after I talk to her and after I vlog, then I am going to take a walk tonight. I'm going to attempt, I still have like 3.5 hours. I'm going to attempt to finish this Paula Hawkins book, The Blue Hour, today. That's my plan, so that I can start all of the Christmas audiobooks tomorrow. Because I've got to get on it if I'm going to start listening to the Christmas audiobooks. I have to get on them tomorrow. I cannot wait another day. And so I think I said this the other day. Like, if I don't finish the Paula Hawkins book today, then I'm gonna postpone it till January. But I really don't want to do that. I really want to finish it today. So I'm gonna take a very long walk, and I am going to attempt to finish it on my walk, and then when I get back, and then I'll probably take a nap after that, and then I still haven't watched Elsbeth and Matlock. So tonight my plan is to watch Sister Wives, take notes on Sister Wives so I can do my Sister Wives video tomorrow, and then watch Matlock and Elsbeth, and of course read. I'm spending like an hour and a half to 2 hours reading every night now, which that's really cutting into my TV watching and the reading. But today is a good day. I feel very rested today. I didn't feel shaky or anything when I woke up today. I got probably about 7.5 hours of sleep last night, which is good for me. And I had a little bit of a headache when I woke up today, but I took some Aleve, and I still have a little bit of a lingering headache, but it's not bad. And today is just a really, really good day. It's weird. It's weird how this works in my life. So, you know, it was Tuesday that I talked about, I guess it was Wednesday when I talked about it, but Tuesday night when I went to the meeting, and I talked about how I'm feeling really disconnected from my higher power, and then that I really needed like a sign, you know, that the dogs were okay and all this kind of stuff, and then Tucker's picture fell and all that. And then I talked about it on Wednesday, and you guys were so supportive, whatever your beliefs were, believe, not believe, whatever, you guys were so supportive of that. And I've just been putting a lot of stuff out there into the universe, and it's kind of weird, like, I've been talking a lot about like feeling lonely versus being alone, and that I wish I had, you know, maybe just 1 or 2 more friends in my life, but like I don't know that I want to start from like I mean, I've literally been saying this like when I'm like just sitting here talking to God late at night, but I don't know that I necessarily want to start from scratch. And today, one of my oldest and dearest friends like texted me out of the blue, and I was like, and she doesn't live here, and we haven't talked for a long time, and I was like, what is going on? And you know, I talk online about friendships that kind of like over time just kind of go their separate ways, and it's because people move or people this or whatever, and that's kind of been our friendship over time, is that because she moved away and we just had separate lives and stuff like that. But we would like every, you know, 6 months to a year, usually like in the last couple years it's been like every year, we would just like catch up like once a year. And so I'm not really sure. She's not the world's greatest texter. But this is somebody that I knew before I got sober, and I've known after I got sober. And we have, like, I mean, been through so much together. And I think she moved back here. And so, and she's like, I really want to get together. I really want to see you. And I'm like, this is so weird. Like, I was just talking to God or the universe about this just the other day. That, like, I wish like Tanya, like I had like a lifelong friend that I had things to do with. And so I was like kind of texting her, and she's like, I don't love to text. And I was like, can we talk later? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, okay, well, when I get back from brunch, I'll call you. And I called her right before I started this vlog, and she didn't answer. And so I texted her and I said, just call me when you're available. And she hearted it. So she must be busy right now, and then she'll call me in a little bit. But I'm really excited because this is, I feel like, kind of what I need right now. It's weird how this stuff works, you know? So, so yeah, my neighbor's outside. She's cleaning up the last bit of fall, I think. What are you doing today over there?
Cleaning up my yard.
The last bit of fall?
Yeah.
Well, you already have your Christmas lights out on your bush over there.
I know.
What else are you going to put out that's Christmas?
I made this beautiful container today.
Oh, that looks so pretty. Did you use any of the stuff from my things from last year?
I went to a dirt bar.
Well, you can have the stuff from these things for next year if you want them.
Yeah, and they provided all the stuff I needed.
Well, that's fun.
Yeah,
Our HOA is being raised by $30 this year. Did I talk about this on here already? This is huge HOA drama. Like everybody, like anybody that walks by, like when they want to like engage in a conversation, that's like the first thing they say. She and I already talked about it. She thinks it's for a different reason than I think. I've been told it's one thing, and she was told something different. What do you think about that HOA fee going up?
well, I knew about that about 3 months ago.
Well, but I said it was because of the lakes, and you said it's something else.
It's because of the increase in insurance.
Yeah, but I heard it's because of the lakes.
Why would it be because of the lake?
Because apparently we owe so much money still on the paying off the lake repair.
Well,
And you know what? And I don't live on the lake, so I think the people that live on the lake should have to pay the extra. Because she lives on the lake. I don't know anything about that.
Yeah, so I'm not sure.
And you know what? Neither you or I went to the annual meeting. So.
I know, I have master gardener meetings to go to.
Well, we'll just pay it and be bitter about it, I guess. $30, don't you think that's a lot? I think it's a lot. So now, I think okay, so now it's $465, but if you pay it online, which everybody in here pays it online, it's like a $9.99 service fee, and so it's really $475, and then it's going to go up $30, which means it's going to be, what, $505? I think that's pretty expensive every month. So, yeah. They put out like this notice that it was going up and starting January 1st and all this kind of stuff, but they didn't really put in the letter like why it's going up. They just said something like, I should have brought the letter with me out here. I mean, it's a very short letter, and they just said as of January 1st, you know, as stated at the annual meeting, the HOA fees will be going up $30, blah, 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 and all this kind of stuff. And then the late fee is like, it's like there's a late fee on there of $25 if you don't pay it. Obviously, there's a late fee. Which I think a $9.99 service charge to pay something online, I mean, I'm sure most of y'all pay your bills online. Do you pay a service charge when you pay online? I mean, like, that's like a Ticketmaster kind of thing. That's not like a paying a bill thing that you pay a service charge. So I think that that's really weird. I mean, it's obvious, so it's really like $40, you know, more each month.
Our property is not considered lakefront property.
Yes, it is.
No,
How is it not?
because we're not right on the lake, and that's how it's written up. We're not lakefront property.
Do you remember that country song? I have some lakefront property and... What's that song? Some lakefront property in Arizona. In Arizona. Do you remember that song? I bet you remember disco, though. Turn the beat around. I'm gonna knock, knock, knock on wood. When I used to go out to the gay bars when I first got sober. I'm gonna start dancing. Not when I first got sober. Before that. You know, when I first started going out to the gay bars. When I was 18. I first started going out to the gay bars. Like, every drag queen would do, like, all of the disco songs. Like, I remember this queen here in Indianapolis. Her name was, I think she was still performing, Lena Myers. And I was actually pretty good friends with her back in the day. Because, like, I was friends with, like, I kind of came out into that group. Like, drag was huge in Indianapolis back in the day. It's not so much anymore, but in Indianapolis at least. But it used to be. I mean, Indianapolis was kind of like a hub of drag. But anyway, Lena Myers, I can remember, she had on this, like, white dress that was all fringe, and she would do that song "Knock on Wood," and there's a part in it where it goes knock knock knock. It just keeps on going over and over, and she would just spin and spin and spin, and the fringe would just go around, and I just absolutely loved it. But they used to do a lot of the disco back in the day, not just in Indianapolis at any drag bar. But anyway, so that's the big HOA drama. That's the big winter HOA drama. Is that as of January 1st, the HOA fees are going up. I don't think they went up last year. I think it was 2 years ago they went up, and it was $13. Did the HOA fees go up last year or the year before? My neighbor's coming out of his, hell no. Did the HOA fees go up last year or the year before?
I don't think they went up last year.
It was the year before, wasn't it? I can't believe you have shoes on today. It's beautiful today, isn't it? Do you have any thoughts about the HOA fees going up? I'm going to have to turn the camera off because he's going to start saying all kinds of
It
stuff.
wouldn't be so bad if we'd had some work done on our place.
Yeah.
I think it's been so long that it's been frustrating that all the fees we've paid, that we haven't seen anything.
Did you see this over here?
So without the paint.
Yeah, and over on hers, and her entire front thing, all the paint came up. And so she said she said she saw it and it was because of the blowing, the leaf blowing. I don't know.
I can believe that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got yours is pretty good. I got to pull some of that away from the siding
Yeah.
so the termites can't just come up through. Yours is okay though. That's plenty of space there. But mine's right up against the wood, the mulch.
You said termites. We don't have problems with termites. And you know what? We haven't had really problems with ants. We used to a lot. And we don't, like, I was talking to a friend of mine about this last night. We used to get stink bugs a lot.
Oh, we've got a few.
We don't get them really that much anymore at all. But you know what we have in the basement? Crickets.
Oh.
And I looked up online, and it's because they like during, it's always wintertime. Like, I've seen a few, like, hop around my feet. Apparently they're not dangerous or bad or anything, but you can get an exterminator to come out, but I haven't seen that many that I think it's a huge... Do you guys have any crickets in your house?
Those little centipede-like things?
We don't get those. We don't get any bugs in our house. I don't know if it's...
I've seen a few. And we've had the little ant in the kitchen.
We had those, but we didn't have them all this year. Like, maybe one day we had them, but other than that, it was...
Put stuff down that they eat, they take back to their nest.
Well, so right here, I put the ant traps. Because I think they come in through here.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Any other HOA drama I should know about other than the...
Just that,
he's thinking.
When they did this work over here, they cut the line on our dog fence. We have to fix again.
Oh, really? Again, you have to do it?
Well, Laura and I are going to do it in a few minutes.
Oh, you're going to do it today?
Yeah.
Because that took you like a whole, 2 days to do that before, when you redid the whole thing, traced it.
That was because somebody hooked up their cable from the other building.
Oh.
And when they put the cable line in, they just went right through my fence, my dog fence.
Oh, yeah.
And I didn't know anything about it, where. Until I talked to Paul.
No.
Paul and the next one, Teresa, over. And he said he had it hooked up and they came over there, and I was like, oh. Because he saw me out there digging, trying to figure out where it was broke. And he said, well, they put a line from your building over. And I'm like, okay. And so I dug just a little bit and found it.
Well, you like projects, so that'll be fun for you to...
I know.
You went...
Not when they take 2 days.
Not when they take 2 days, exactly.
This one we know where it's from.
Yeah.
It'll go quick.
Well, enjoy your walk.
What do you?
So, okay, they allowed, it's crazy they even allowed this. This was like, how old is their dog now? Their dog's probably like four or five. It's been like, I feel like it was after PP passed away, which the end of this month is 5 years since he's passed away. They got their dog, and he's a Beagle Basset Hound, and so they wanted to be able to, like, so we have this whole backyard here that, like, all three, like, I mean, it's like 5-6 condos that share all of it, but we're kind of separated. It's like the three of us, and then the other, like, 6 people. It's kind of like they don't really, like, use their backyards at all. I mean, we don't use our back patio at all either. So they had gone to the HOA board and said that they wanted to put, like, one of those invisible fences back there. And they were like, and they were like, all you have to do is get approval from the 2 neighbors because they wanted to use it, like, all the way down, like, past my neighbor that I go to the pool with, her condo, past her condo. And at that time, she had a dog that she kept half the time, and her parents kept half the time. She still does have this dog, but her parents keep it most of the time now because she got a new dog. And so they ask us, and they're like, what do you, like, you know, how do you feel about, we're like, we could care less. I mean, like, Boo and Tucker, and especially PP, like, I mean, they would always stand within, like, 5 feet of us. Even if somebody was, like, you know, like, 20 feet away and, like, called them, they wouldn't come. They would just always stay by us. I do not know how. Like, that's going to be another thing, like, having to get a new dog, like, leash training it and stuff like that. I mean, they didn't like to walk on leashes anyway, but, like, we could walk without a leash and they would walk right by us. I mean, they were Boo and Tucker and PP were so well trained. And it was really PP, because PP trained them, and Alex had trained PP so well, and his roommates had, and things like that. It was funny because, like, Sarah always goes, well, I'm the one that trained PP, because I was the one, like, Alex had afternoon and night classes when because he got him when he was at IU, and they all lived together. And she also taught him to do this trick where, like, if you, like, held a tree and you go, speak, PP, speak, and you go, oh, I miss PP so much. But anyway, so they ask us, and we're like, no, do whatever you want to do. We could care less. Have the, you know, the invisible fence. And so, and then she was the same way. She was like, oh no, and I'll use it. And so they kind of thought that we were going to use it with Boo and Tucker, but because they were older dogs and they were little, I didn't, because, you know, you have to have the leash on it. It's like, you know, all that kind of stuff. I wasn't real comfortable with it. Plus, they didn't really need it. Like, we could put Boo and Tucker outside and they would just, you know, like, if we would never just let them out by themselves anyway. And so we didn't ever use it, but they have used it. Well, twice now, the line somehow, I don't know what it means to get cut, I don't know, but, like, one day, this was probably like a year ago, he was out there with those, like, flag things, and he was, like, all the way through, like, her yard, and, like, tracking where it went, and the line got cut. And so what he's saying is that they had cable or something installed down there. I don't even know the person he's talking about. They had the cable installed, and so they cut the line again, and so the 2 of them are going to put it out there, and they're going to, like, retrace where they're going to put it and stuff like that. So whatever, have at it. I could care less, you know. But so did she go inside? I wanted to ask. She went inside. I was going to ask her what she thought of Survivor this week. Anyway, did my friend call me back? Knock, knock, knock on wood. Nikki called me. My friend texted me and she said, I'll call you in 20. She's probably hanging out with her parents. Okay, last night. I'm trying to think of what I did last night. I did so much last night. Last night was very, very productive. Okay, so last night when I got done vlogging, what did I do? I did a load of laundry, and then, oh, I did a bunch of cameos last night. I'm getting, like, so many cameos for the holidays. It's crazy. And people are giving me, like, real specific stuff, which I kind of love to go off of. So anyway, I did a bunch of cameos, and I sat down there, and I had my laundry in the hallway. So then I put the laundry down. Oh, I was waiting for the vlog to be done rendering. And so that I could start uploading it. And so when I, what do you call it? I was doing the cameos while it was rendering, and then when the vlog got done rendering on iMovie is when I started uploading it. Then I went down the basement. Oh, wait. Oh, no. I was doing the cameos while the memory card was uploading to the computer. I finished some cameos, and then when it was done and I was like, I could render it, that's what you have to do before it's like it's formatted before I can upload it to YouTube. Then I went downstairs and I put the load of laundry in because I had like a bunch of hoodies and like these corduroy. I've been wearing these Birdwell. If you guys, these Birdwell corduroy pants, let me show you. These are so cute. These are the blue ones. Birdwell, and they're having a sale right now. They're the ones that I got the shorts, but I really want to go online and buy some more pants, but I'm going through this thing right now where I'm like, I don't want to spend money on something that I don't really need. And I have so many clothes, so many shoes, things like that, that I'm like, I just need to use what I have right now. I mean, as far as like Amazon stuff, like I love to get on Amazon and buy stuff and try new stuff and all that kind of stuff. But as far as like clothes and shoes and like high ticket price items, like I need to just use it. I mean, I have sneakers that I bought like to use this fall that I still haven't used yet. So I just need to use the stuff that I have before, unless it's something that I really, really want. I mean, like a pair of Birkenstock clogs that I haven't seen before, then I would get those. But right now I'm just trying to use the stuff that I have. Alex and I actually had a lengthy conversation at brunch today, a good conversation about what we wanted to do as far as Christmas presents. And we're like, listen, we each have, I mean, there are some, I have bags I don't even use. I'm like, I need to start using all the stuff that I have because I typically like every day I use like the same things, like, and like right now I'm in this corduroy phase. So when I go out, I always wear these cords or the brown ones with these clogs. And then I wear this hoodie from Abercrombie, or I wear like the gray one from Abercrombie, and this hat. I might buy like another hat or two, like another trucker hat or two. I do like this brand, this Hot Rod LA brand, so I might buy another one or two of these. But other than that, I looked on D Squared. They don't have any hats that I want right now. And Gorham Brothers, I have so many Gorham Brothers hats that I don't need any more of those right now. But Alex and I were talking about Christmas presents, and I was like, okay, so we need to talk about Christmas presents. So I like bought almost everybody except for like Alex, my mother-in-law, and Caroline, and Caroline's husband, which I'll probably just get a gift card for. And so, oh, you know what? I just remembered. Who was I talking to that? When you starting on that yard? Oh, right now. Who was I talking to? Maybe it was Caroline. I think I do know what to get David, her son, for Christmas this year. Anyway, so that's all I have to buy. And then I'm done. Got my dad and stepmom figured out all that kind of stuff. So I'm done, like, Christmas shopping. Except for, like, well, Tanya and my sponsor I already bought. I mean, I've got, like, everybody except for Alex and, like, Caroline. So, you know, I want to talk to Caroline about what she wants. Like, I want to get her something that she really wants that she wouldn't buy for herself. So, because she does so much for me. So, you know, I want to do that. And so Alex and I were talking, and I was like, you know, I mean, Alex and I usually kind of go all out for Christmas and birthdays and stuff like that. And I was like, we can't, okay, here's the thing. I mean, we could, but it's exorbitant to go all out for Christmas and buy bags and bracelets and cologne and all this kind of stuff, then also buy a trip on top of it, then also start doing the home renovations next year. I mean, it's a lot. And so, and we're trying to, you know, be better about some of that stuff. And so I said, okay, what do you want to do? Because he keeps on asking me. I was like, let's have this conversation. He was like, well, I don't really need anything. And I go, well, I don't need anything either. I said, I mean, there's things I would love to have, but I don't need anything. He had a bunch of gift cards, and so he just got a new bag. He's real excited about it. He ordered it the other night when he was out shopping with his coworkers. But he had a bunch of gift cards to use. So I actually have so many gift cards in there. What is that little garden thing are you using? The little garden thing. The bench. Is that to sit on?
That's for me.
He's like one of those little garden benches to sit out there. I actually have, this is crazy. Like, I told Caroline, I said, one day I just want to go and I want to use all these gift cards. Because I've been saving them and saving them and saving them. This is another thing. Like, my mom used to do this with gift cards, right? I've been saving these gift cards and saving these gift cards. I mean, I have probably, no lie, I probably have like $150 worth of Barnes & Noble gift cards. I probably have, I think like all the Starbucks gift cards I've already used. I have Nordstrom. I don't know why people always buy me Nordstrom gift cards for holidays. But I probably have $200 at Nordstrom. That's where Alex got his bag from. He had like tons of Nordstrom gift cards. I have like 3 Visa gift cards of like $100 each. I have all these gift cards. I have a couple Amazon gift cards. I'm like, I've just got to use these gift cards. You know, they just, some of them have sat there. I mean, they don't like ever expire, so they're fine. But I just don't use them. And I'm just like, I'm going to save them. I'm going to save them. My mom also, like, anytime she would get cash, like my Aunt Kathy would give her cash for, you know, holidays and birthdays and stuff like that. This was smart, okay? If you think about this, my mom started a separate savings account like years and years and years ago, and it didn't have a lot when she passed away in it. I think it had like $1,000 or something in it, but it was like all the money that like my Aunt Kathy or anybody, like if I gave her like $20 or like we went to the casino and she would take home $20, she would put it in that savings account. And I think like that's this thing. I was talking to Alex about this the other day because he was like, when you started like really saving money, I said, I can remember like my dad, was I talking about this on here or was I talking about, I know I was talking to Alex about it, but I was talking to somebody else about it too. I remember my dad said to me to pay yourself first. Was I talking about this on here? It was when I very first started working in treatment. I think I was talking about it on here because I was talking about how I made like $7 and, what did I make? $7.12 an hour or something like that. I think my first paycheck was $400. My first paycheck $4.12, or was I making $7.12 an hour? I don't know. It was low, but I remember my dad said pay yourself first, and that I did. I started like just even if it was like $10 or $20 a week or every paycheck that I could put into savings. But that's how I started the whole savings thing. And Dave Ramsey talks a lot about that too, about paying yourself first. Like when you get a paycheck, and I know people are like, "Why have bills? I can't pay myself first." You can pay yourself $5. You can pay yourself $1, okay? And $1 a week makes $2 in 2 weeks, makes $3 in 3 weeks, okay? And by the end of the year, you have $52 saved that you didn't have at the beginning of the year, right? So if you think about it that way, most people can save $1 a week, I think. I think that's fair to say most people can. I know somebody out there is going to be like, I can't, but I think most people can probably scrape together 4 quarters or, you know, 10 dimes or whatever for $1 a week. That's $52 at the end of the year. That doesn't really sound like much, okay? But if you save it for 4 years, you've got $200 a year, and that's just $1 a week, you know? At the end of, 4 years, you've got $200. Well, $200 is something that, like, if you have an emergency situation, and that's really why I started my savings. When I started saving a lot of money, my savings wasn't to, like, one day look back and be like, oh my God, you have all this savings, what are you gonna do with it? If you talk to any of my friends or my husband or whatever, what they would say to you is, Peter is like a crazy saver. I know that like I do all these hauls and it seems like I spend a lot of money, and I do. But like all that money comes out of like an amount of money that I set aside for me to spend. I've talked about it so much over here. People, I've said I'll do whole like budgeting videos. When I think about that, there was a time that I was so financially in such like a horrible hole, and I know there's people that think like I got a trust fund from my dad. He would laugh if he was here right now, you know. There was no trust funds, there was none of that. I went into, I'm the only person I know that went into debt when a parent died, things like that. I inherited all of my mom's debt. There was none of that, but and I think it's interesting looking back that I was at this period where I was in like such financial ruins, and it's not like I'm like wealthy by any means today, right? But it's small things. It's like owning, like I worked, really hard to pay 3 times as much on our mortgage every month to pay off our condo. And, hey, how are you? Where's your little dog? Oh, he's got his AirPods in. His little dog is the one that looks like Boo Radley, but like a bigger version of him. And just little stuff like that, right? And so, well, that's not little stuff to me, but, anyway. If you talk to like my friends like Tanya or Alex, they'd be like, oh my God, Peter is like crazy about like savings and budgeting. Well, it was really out of a need of getting like, out of debt and things like that, and learning how to get out of debt. And I've talked a lot about that. And so it was, and having that savings account, which first having a savings account was like about emergency issues. Like what if your water heater broke, or what if your sump pump broke, or, you needed like a new furnace or something like that. I mean, we've had all those things happen. And before, we're in pretty tough straits. And I was like, I don't want to ever be in a situation again where that happens. So that was where, like, back in the day, from setting like just a little bit aside and then taking that and moving that into, whatever, that we had, you know, savings for emergency funds, which we have set up now. So if something emergency happens, we have savings for that. You know, I had savings for car situations, like if I needed car repairs and whatever, and I've moved that over into like personal savings. And so then I budget every month for what I can spend. The camera stopped. Am I at 30 minutes already? You know, every month I budget like what I can spend as far as like food, what I can spend as far as like, and that includes going out to eat, DoorDash, brunch on Sundays, whatever, groceries, you know, entertainment and whatever. The reality is I don't leave home a lot, so I'm sure to a lot of people, like, it's, because I do a lot of hauls. I love doing the hauls on my Peter Does Stuff channel, or that I spend a lot of money, but like, I don't go anywhere, you know? It's not like I'm like going, even when Caroline and I go places now, I don't really buy that much stuff when we're out. You know, at the grocery store today, I think I spent $60 and I got stuff to last me through the whole week of eating healthy. And I got really healthy stuff today, you know, and it was like $60. I was kind of surprised. I thought it'd be like $120. But yeah, I'm a big believer. People have asked me to do videos. I rebought the Dave Ramsey original one, which is called Total Money Makeover. I rebought that book. And then the second one, which is called like Be a Millionaire by 40 or something like that. I've never read that one. It's supposed to be good. So I was going to go back in and read them, and I was going to talk about them on one of my channels. If you guys want me to do that, I can do that. But those books, I don't know anything about Dave Ramsey. I don't know anything about him being in his personal life or whatever, but I'll tell you his financial advice. I mean, as far as like, if you're younger too, I would tell you this. If you're like 25 to 30, read the Dave Ramsey book, Total Money Makeover. It talks about saving money. It talks about buying cars. The way that it talks about buying a car in there is genius, okay? Like, it talks in there about, it's so common sense what he thinks, but it's just like genius. I still remember what he talks about to this day. That like, okay, let's say you're like out of college, and it's really, I mean, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, which is a fantastic book too. I mean, all these books I wish I had read when I was like, I read them too late, kind of. I mean, it's still, a lot of it saved my ass, snowballing myself out of debt. I followed exactly what Dave Ramsey said, and it worked. I can tell you that. Snowballing yourself out of debt. Get the Dave Ramsey book. You can get it from the library. You can buy it online. It's called Total Money Makeover. I wouldn't buy the audio version of it because you're going to want to underline and write notes and stuff like that. I think there's probably even a workbook, I would assume, or something like that now. But I did exactly what he talked about as far as snowballing debt, and it worked. I couldn't believe it. And not only that, but it really financially educated me on, it really made me feel smart about finances and things like that. But one of the things he talks about in there is about like buying a car, okay? And that like, when you get out of like, let's say college, or you get your first job, right? And you can afford to get a car. That a lot of people get swept away with like if you said, what's your dream car, okay? And let's say if your dream car was like, I don't know, I don't even know. Like, I think he uses a Porsche as an example in there. I don't even know the price of a car today, but let's say like a $50,000 car, right? And it was like, or maybe like a $60,000, let's go way up, like a Porsche or a, you know, just a standard Range Rover or something like that, $60,000 or $80,000 car. Let's say if that's your like dream car, okay? Well, there's a lot of people that like out of college will like lease that car or buy a used one or whatever, right? So let's say if every month, I know car payments are more expensive now, but let's say if every month you can afford, right out of college or your first job, let's say you can afford, let's say $400 in a car payment, okay? What he says is, get a car payment that's like a car that you might not like, but it'll get you from point A to point B, which is really all you need, okay? And then you get a car payment, let's say for $150 or let's say $200. I think that's fair, right? And then you get a car for $200, and then every month you take that $200 and you put it into a savings account, specifically for a car, okay? So then let's say if you have, I don't even know how to do the math on this because I'm so bad at math, right? So let's say a lot of car leases or car payments are like 6 years, 72 months, right? So let's say if that's $200, $200 a month that you're saving, okay, times 72 is $14,400, okay? So then what he says is, let's say in the next 6 years, you then can afford, let's say, $500 of car payment a month, right? Then what you do is, when you get to the point where you need a new car, you take the savings that you have, you buy a used car, okay, let's say for $14,000 or $10,000, okay, let's say you can buy a used car, let's say for $12,000, okay? So then you take that $2,400 that you have in there, okay, and you put it into a savings account. You buy the car outright, the used car. It might not be the car of your dreams, but it'll get you from point A to point B. At this point, you're in your late 20s, okay? So then what you do is you put that $2,400 aside, and let's say if you're going to keep that car, let's say for another 6 to 7, let's say 7 years, okay? So now you can afford, let's say $400 a month in a car payment, which I think is fair, okay, times 12. Hold on a second. 400 times 12 times, and you keep the car for 7 years, okay? It's now, you now have $33,000, $33,600 plus interest in a savings account, okay? And let's say if that gets you from, like, let's say 28 to, let's say if that gets you from 28 to, let's say, 35, okay? So then at 35, what you do is you go and you buy a car, and maybe it's a nicer car, okay? And let's say if instead of $33,600, what you do is, and you've gotten job promotions, you can afford now more, so you can buy a little bit a nicer used car. Let's say if you get a used car, let's say for $20,000, okay? So you now have I forgot about that other $2,200. So you have $13,600 plus that, let's say, $2,000 that we had from before, okay? So you now have $15,600 in savings, okay? So remember that, $15,600, I'll never remember that. I also don't love the new calculator on the update of the iPhone, just so you know. Okay, so you now have, let's say, $15,600, we'll just round it up to $16,000, okay, with interest and things like that over the years. And you're 35 years old, okay? So let's say over the next 5 years, you can now afford, let's say, $600 a month in a car payment. You're not paying anything in a car payment, okay? So all of this is just going into savings, okay? So 600 times 12 is a year, $7,200, let's say, times 5 years is $36,000, okay? What did I say? Plus $15,600. Okay, you now have $51,600. You can go buy your dream car by the time you're 40 years old. So by the time you're 40 years old, you can go buy your brand new dream car. If at college you started doing this, okay? So at, let's say, 40 years old, you go out and you buy a $51,600 car with cash. You have no car payment, okay? So let's say if you keep that car for 10 years, but you keep on putting aside in a what do you call it? You keep on putting aside in a car payment, let's say even $500 a month that you would put into a car payment, okay, times 12 is $6,000, times 10 years, you have $60,000. Not to mention what you would get if you sold that car used at 10 years. So maybe on top of that, you're gonna get, let's say if it's a nice car, you're gonna get another $20,000 on top of that. So you're looking at between, or 10 to 20,000. So you're looking at between, I know when people say this, they're gonna be like, Peter, this is what he talks about in the book. And it makes so much sense. Or even if you're not 40 when you buy your dream car, let's say if you're 50 when you buy your dream car, but you have no car payment, and you own your dream car, okay? So it's very much about shifting money around and doing things that are smart. Like for us, it's like when we realized we could pay off this condo, it's like, do we pay off this condo and sell it and move somewhere nicer that we'd rather have, or do we keep the condo and redo it? And we have no car, we have no home payment. We just pay the HOA fees, right? But it's safe in here. We have a pool that I love. We have tennis courts. It's easily accessible. We're, a half an hour to the airport, and we're, hey, how are you? Look at her little coat. She's so Christmassy. Aww. She's got a little pug, and she's got a little, fleece, green coat on. But we're, accessible to his work, to his friends, the mall, things like that. We're, a half an hour from the airport, 20 minutes from downtown, 5 minutes from Broad Ripple, 15 minutes from the north side. So it's great for us. So we're like, okay, so we're going to put more money into someplace, or we can make this into our dream home, buy someplace in Florida or San Diego or wherever we decide to go down the road, right? Probably San Diego at this point, in 5 or 6 years, It's all about that. It's all about, being smart with your money. And that was something I did not understand in my youth. I felt so trapped in constantly, paying bills and not feeling like I had enough money to pay these bills and things like that. And, honestly, Dave Ramsey in Total Money Makeover, and I think paying off the debt myself, I don't judge anybody that had to, whatever, they had to file bankruptcy or anything. I understand that people have situations that they have to do those situations or things in. I don't judge anybody for their financial situations, but that was a decision I was like, I'm not going to do this. I incurred this debt. I'm going to pay off this debt myself. I think paying off that debt taught me that anything was possible. And so, and then I think, like, starting to save money and have, you know, savings here and savings there. Anyway, I was talking about us going on a trip. So what we decided was that we're going to each get each other something probably very nice, but very minimal, and then some kind of emotional gift, but we are going to take a trip. We're not really sure when we're going to do it yet, but we're going to look tonight, and we're going to take a trip. So I'm excited about that. We really, I mean, we need to get away. So maybe in the next couple weeks, you don't know. And that's going to be our Christmas present to each other. So anyway, so, okay, last night, I went downstairs, I did the laundry, and then I was like, while it is rendering, I'm going to put up the Christmas tree. So I put up the Christmas tree last night. I didn't put up all the ornaments and stuff, but in all honesty, well, I brought up the ornament boxes, but there must be the ornaments that we use, like all the birds and stuff that we use every year. It must still be, I have like several of the crates downstairs that are specifically just for Christmas. It must be in there because the two that I brought up are like all the Christmas ornaments I saved from my mom, and then the ones that Alex and I got early on that we don't use ever. And so it was funny, I had the garland that I bought at Trader Joe's for Halloween that I never ended up using, that Caroline used at her house. It's like these little balls. I don't think I used it last year for Christmas, or if I did, I like traced it over the fireplace. So I put up the tree. Remember those vintage Christmas TVs that I bought last year that has like Rudolph and stuff in them? I put those around. I put some of the stuff up that I got, and then I wrapped the garland around the Christmas tree. It looks really, really cute. I think I have a picture here because I sent it to Alex last night and I sent it to Nikki. Hold on just a second. Let me see if I can find the picture of it. I don't know if you guys can really see this. So here it is, a little Christmas tree. And then I put up that like bunch of stuff. Do you guys remember I got that last year? And then I put one of the little Christmas things over there. Oh, also, my mom had these gingerbread men that she used to like hang in the kitchen like that. And I put them around the base of the Christmas tree on top of that. And then over here, I put this little Santa, and then I put the reindeer, and I put another one of the Christmas trees. And then out here, you can see the Believe sign is back out here. And then I also put the reindeer bells. And so that was last night. I put up the Christmas tree. And then what did I do after that? Alex did not come home too late. I don't really remember my night last night very well now. What else did I do? Why don't I remember what I did last night? Took a nap at some point. Alex came home right after I started taking a nap. He was super tired and he did not want to, there's all these birds just came out here. He did not want to watch House of Villains. Oh, by the way, when I was talking about feeding the ducks and I said bread, and so many people were like, don't feed the ducks bread. And you guys gave me suggestions for what to get the ducks down there. And there was like feed you can get on Amazon or something like that. I think I'm actually going to buy some of that stuff and then go down there. I thought that would be something fun to do through the winter. I know it's corny, but on top of like, just like, you know, being out here and whatever, I thought to go down and feed the ducks. I thought that would be kind of fun to do. So I'm going to buy some of that. So thank you guys for the suggestions on that. What did I do? Oh, well, okay, then I came downstairs after I got it from my nap. I had such a great nap. My naps were so good. My naps were so good. I had already trimmed my wicks and everything like that, and I came downstairs. Alex was asleep at that point when I got up, and I lit all my candles. I lit all my candles and the candle waxer and things like that. Who did I talk to? I talked to Tanya. And I talked to Nikki out here on the phone. Mel and I were texting a bunch last night. Oh my God, funny stuff. We have these always inside jokes, the three of us, when we were in Arizona. And so I was like, I can't even, they're not bad, but they're like funny personal stuff. And so, that was right before I took my nap. I called Mel because I was like, oh, I forgot to tell you something. Oh, because I kept on, okay, like if you watch 1,000-Pound Sisters, they always like when they come inside and they see each other, they go, hey bitch, hey bitch. They always say that to each other. Hey, how are you? Your dog is so pretty. They always say like, hey bitch to each other and stuff like that. So Mel and I do the same. She doesn't even watch 1,000-Pound Sisters. And so, I was like telling her I was getting ready to take a nap. If I read you the text messages, they're so stupid. And, I have to read you guys the text messages. They are so dumb. Okay. Hold on a second. Where did I said, I'm in bed already. I gotta sleep so I can watch my shows tonight. And she said, gotta rest up for those stories. And I said, I said, night bitch, LOL. And she goes, night bitch. And then I put the fingernail emoji. And I said, oh my God, I forgot to tell you something. And she said, tell me. And I said, night bitch, LOL. And then she goes, bitch. And then I called her and I go, oh my God, I have to tell you something. And I said, I was real serious, so I like waited a couple minutes. So I'm like in bed writing my name. If Nikki is watching this right now, Nikki knows the inside joke that this went to on the phone, okay? So, because it's from Arizona. So I call Mel on the phone. I'm like real serious. It was a couple minutes. I go, oh no, but like in all seriousness, Mel, I totally forgot to tell you something. She's like, what? And I go, well, it's kind of serious. I don't know how you're going to handle it. And she goes, what is it? And I go, night bitch. She just started laughing. And then it went into this thing. I said, oh my God, do you remember from Arizona? And we started laughing so much. So anyway, and then I like turned off the lights and then Alex came home. Anyway, so when I got up, I read the cheesy Christmas books first, the children's ones. The House Without a Christmas Tree. Adelaide and the class committee went to go buy Miss Thompson something for Christmas, but they only had $4.25, and I ended up buying her a jewelry box. Why am I reading this book? Why am I reading this book? You know why I'm reading this book? Just so I can finish it, so that I can watch the movie, because I want to watch the movie The House Without a Christmas Tree. So I'm trying to work through this book so much. And then this one boy in class calls her grandma, Adelaide's grandma, Addie's grandma. She calls her a character. Hey, how are you?
How are you doing?
Good. You're not dressed very warm today. And she's the one that, like, her dog and the other one I call my favorite neighbor, they have like twin dogs. Anyway, this boy calls, she likes him, but he has cowboy boots, and so she wants cowboy boots for Christmas. So anyway, but he calls her grandma a character, and then one of the other kids says she's not a character, she's nuts. And so then the teacher has to have a whole conversation with the kids about what's the difference between a character and somebody that's nuts. Which I thought was kind of an interesting conversation. But anyway, I read that book. And then I read The Great Kidnapping. This will be the last time I ever read this book. It's totally middle school, and probably elementary school. So Santa Claus has gone missing at Macy's, and they don't know where he's gone, and there's writing articles in the paper. He's just disappeared. So now the mice, what's his name? It's not, I thought it was Max. It's not Max. Marvin is his name, Marvin. Marvin and the gang, they have to, like, apparently he wrote a couple other books about this mice gang. They, like, solve mysteries or something. They live in, like, the cheese shop most of the year, and the guy that owns the cheese shop's real nice to him. It's cute. I mean, I understand why I liked it at 6. I'm just kind of going down memory, road a little bit. So I'm reading this book. I'm almost done with it. I'm like more than halfway through it, both of them. So then I was like, but I wanted to read those first. I usually save those for last, because I just like, I want to read them, but I'm not that interested in them. So I usually read like the Advent calendar books, and then I'll Be Alone for Christmas. Did I tell you guys this the night before? I read like almost all of the I'll Be Alone for Christmas. So I told Nikki. Well, Nikki, by the time I got up from my nap, she had already finished it. She had just like read one chapter the night before. She had finished, it's a novella by Kristen Mulligan, okay? Who I put on my Instagram. Oh my God, that scared the hell out of me. Did you get it done? Maybe. He's like came out of nowhere. It was like Michael Myers. So I like tagged her in the picture. I didn't think she'd see it. I put the picture up last night on my Instagram of the book when I finished it. So anyway, so I finished the 25 Days by Per Jacobson last night. This is an Advent calendar book. It was good. The chapter last night was good. The Xmas break, I finished, well, it's a chapter for today, really. I finished a chapter for today. It's the longest Christmas Eve dinner I've ever seen in my entire life. That book's kind of, it needs to pick up some pace. 25 Days last night was good. It's getting very scary. And then I finished the book, I'll Be Alone for Christmas. Is that what it's called? Hold on, I still have it on my Instagram, I think. I put all these clips of Sandra Bernhardt on David Letterman. And I put on here, this one moment in television history changed my life forever. I used to watch my VHS tape of this interview over and over and over again. And it's David Letterman, and I got these clips from the Sandra Bernhardt fan on Instagram. It's David Letterman and Sandra Bernhardt on, it's like the first time I ever saw her, and I recorded it. And a couple people reached out to me, and they're like, why was it this moment that changed you forever? That scene, I've always called her Sandra Bernhardt. I guess it didn't work, huh? Oh, it did? Congrats. Seeing Sandra Bernhardt on the David Letterman show, and she was so confident, and at that time she wasn't out, you know, and she was so queer positive and just so herself. You know, I was this socially anxious, still am adult, struggling with having any kind of confidence whatsoever, uncomfortable in my own skin, really hated myself because other people taught me to hate myself. I didn't like myself, and I can remember watching her, and she's like singing Taylor Day, and she's like, don't rush me, and she's like doing all this kind of stuff, and it just like, I remember watching her, and I was like, and I thought she was gorgeous, and I thought she was sexy, and I thought she was fun, and I was like, I want to, I was like, there were so many people walking in this neighborhood tonight. I was like, whatever she has, I want. Like, I want that confidence. Because I'd never felt that way before. And so when I would watch her, and I can remember that was when I bought her tape, Without You I'm Nothing, which was her one-woman stand-up show. And, I tried to download it on iTunes like a couple months ago, and it's not available on iTunes. I still have like the disc, the CD, and the tape cassette in my basement somewhere. But I know every word of that show, Without You I'm Nothing by Sandra Bernhardt. I loved that so much. She ends it with a little red Corvette and all kind of stuff. I was obsessed with her. I had pictures of her up in my locker. Just to think of her, and that was at the time that she was friends with Madonna and stuff like that, and then after that, when I came out, was when the Blonde Ambition tour was going on, and Truth or Dare, the movie with Madonna. That whole era, I think the reason why, I think it's very similar to Lady Gaga, but it was different with Madonna during that era, is that Madonna mothered so many gay men, but also, I think, there were so many of us that I think related to. I read this thing years and years ago about like Tammy Faye Baker, Patti LaBelle, Madonna, Cher. It's like all these people that were like gay divas had also gone through like a lot of tragedy in their life, and so there was like a relatability to us. It was kind of like Dorothy and Oz, so to speak. And there was something about Sandra Bernhardt, like when you would hear her story, and that she always considered herself, like, people would make fun of her and say she was ugly, and, you know, make fun of her lips and the gap in her teeth, and she took all of that and became this like icon, you know. And there was something about that that was so alluring to me. So anyway, I posted that last night on Instagram. That one interview, if you can look it up, it's like from 1989. That one where she's got a gray suit on. That one interview, that one alone, she talks about Jackie Collin loving her book, and she was like jokes, and she's like, she's writing a book about me, and that one interview alone, I mean, I know it by heart. To this day, I know it by heart. I watched it so many times. There was something about Sandra Bernhardt that just oozed confidence, and I didn't have it. I'm still that way with, you know, when somebody walks in, it's funny because I said this in a video a while ago, and somebody said, that's so you. It's not me. I think that's sweet that people think that about me, but that's not me. I said something about when people walk in a room and they just kind of like, their presence just kind of like, it's not even that they're like, I'm not talking about arrogance or cockiness, because that's the turn off to me. I'm talking about when somebody walks in a room and you're like, who is that, you know? Like, and they just are so comfortable in their own skin. I think like my whole life, I've just so wanted to just be comfortable in my own skin, you know? I think that's what I've just wanted more than anything, was just to be comfortable in my own skin. And I still struggle with that, you know? But anyway, so I posted that, but then I posted on here, because I finished that book. So I finished the Poor Jacobson book. I finished the 25th Night, but then I sat down and I finished I'll Be Alone for Christmas, I think is what it's called. Hold on a second. The seating chart of Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, and I said, will Brittany bring Jared? Hold on a second. Okay. So this is the book, and I put on here, I'll Be Alone for Christmas by Kristen Mulligan. And I said, hands down, one of the best thrillers, not just a Christmas thriller I have ever read. Wish it had been longer, so good. I said to Nikki, you gotta quit scaring me like that. He's laughing.
I'll walk wider.
The neighborhood horror movie trying to kill me. He said, I'll just talk more. I told Nikki, like, I mean, so many people go on and on about these Freida McFadden books. This book, you guys, is so good. The building of suspense and tension in this book, it's a novella, too. So it's like 100, I think it's 151 pages. It is such a quick read. Well, I posted it, and I tagged her in it, because I just thought, I mean, it's not like she's this huge writer or anything. I thought, well, I want her to know that I really loved her book. Oh my God, she messaged me. And she was like, this means, I don't even know how she said it. She was like, this means so much to me. And I was like, oh, you're welcome. I said, you need to write a full-on thriller. I know you write comedy romances and you should write what you want to write, but you are so good at this. And so we went back and forth a little bit. And it was really sweet. It was really sweet what she said. So I was really excited about that. And so got done with that. And then after that, I was like, okay, Elsbeth, or am I going to watch, like, Elsbeth and Matlock, or am I going to watch 1,000 Pound Sisters, or 1,000 Pound Best Friends? I still have this week's episode. So this week I still have 1,000 Pound Sisters to watch. I think this week is the finale of it. I also have Matlock and Elsbeth, and then I have Sister Wives tonight. I've got lots of TV to watch tonight. And House of Villains that Alex and I will probably watch tonight. And I got to finish the Paula Hawkins book. I got so much to do. What else did I do last night? Well, I finished that book, put up the Christmas tree. There was something else I did. Did a bunch of laundry, cleaned the kitchen. Alex did the dishes and put the dishes away. I don't even know. There's something else I did yesterday I was going to tell you guys about. Doesn't matter. Anyway, I will be doing my review to that book on my BookTube channel, either tomorrow or Monday. I decided not to film a bunch of videos today either. I was like, I'm just going to film my vlog and that'll be good enough for today. And just relax the rest of the day. So, watch a bunch of these TV shows, relax, all this kind of stuff tonight. And then, yeah, I've got all these shows to watch. So last night I was like, I want to watch 1,000 Pound Best Friends. I'm obsessed with that show. The show is so inspiring, and I don't know, I love all their stories. And so last night, I think I had 3.5 episodes left, or 2.5 or 3.5 episodes. I read for like 2 hours, because I'm reading the James Patterson book too. I wanted to finish it by today, but that's not going to happen. So I'll probably finish it by like Tuesday, because I'm reading that slower, because I'm reading the other books and stuff. So, and then I'll start another James Patterson book in place of that to read. The other books, like the short story books and Go Ask Alice and stuff, I'm going to wait until January to read those. And then I'm going to read like a chapter a day or 2 chapters a day reading those, plus like a James Patterson, and then also my audiobooks. I am loving like reading physical copies of books again. I kind of didn't even realize how much I missed it until I got back into it. I'm just like literally page turning. I'm like oh, one more chapter. I'm loving it so much. It's kind of really the self-care that I really needed, in all honesty. So yeah. And then, so last night I finished season 2 of 1,000 Pound Best Friends, and I started season 3. And I'm halfway through episode 1. And there are 6 episodes out already, and so the 7th episode comes out tonight. It's 10 episodes a season, so I've got 7, 8, 9, and 10. My plan is to get caught up and then cover episode 7 this week, and then going forward every week until the finale, I will cover an episode of 1,000 Pound Best Friends. I'm loving the show. It is so good. It's so good in a completely different way than 1,000 Pound Sisters. Like, I love 1,000 Pound Sisters too. But I really love that on 1,000 Pound Best Friends. They really educate a lot more, and they also talk about the emotional stuff behind like food issues and addiction, and they refer to it on the show as like they talk a lot about like food addiction and things like that. It's fantastically done. I love the show so much. I love it. So tonight I have, let's look in here really quickly. Okay, tonight I have weekly TV. Well, I have to watch 1,000 Pound Sisters, so I don't know if I'll watch that tonight or tomorrow. Oh, and then Nikki was watching the Lisa Frank documentary, and I was like, is it good? And she's like, well, it's good because I was really, like, into that stuff back in the day, and she's like, it's about the husband and wife and their divorce and all kind of stuff. I guess it's 3 parts. And I said, is it good enough that I should watch it, like, make a reaction video to it? And she's like, I don't know, I think some people might be interested in it. So, I'll probably watch that this week. And then I've got 1,000 Pound Sisters from last week, House of Villains, Matlock, Elsbeth. The battery stopped. Or the camera stopped, sorry. I've got 1,000 Pound Sisters, House of Villains, Matlock, and Elsbeth to watch just to catch up. And then tonight I have Sister Wives. So I've got 5 shows to catch up on just from last week until we start again on Tuesday night with Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. So I've got 5 shows to watch for tomorrow that I have to watch. I mean, I don't have to, but okay. And then once I finish those 5 shows, I'm going to go back into 1,000 Pound Best Friends, Season 3. And I'm hoping to get caught up. Well, this week I'll get caught up on that because I'm on Season 3 already. And then I'll watch this week's episode. So I really only have, with this week's episode, I have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have 6.5 episodes to watch. And I'm happy to get caught up on that. I'm loving it. Oh my God, it's so good. Yeah, and then I want to also finish the Paula Hawkins book tonight, The Blue Hour. I don't love it. I don't love it at all. In fact, if I hadn't picked it for Peter's book club, I probably would DNF it. Has anybody read it? Does it get a lot better? Tanya hated it. Tanya was like, it's her worst book she's ever written. And then another friend of mine, Nikki didn't read it, Mel didn't read it. Another friend of mine said they loved it. So, I don't know. I'm really struggling with it. I'm really struggling with it. I'm just really not that interested. And it's a lot of diary entries and stuff like that, and I don't love it. So, and also, the narrator speaks very fast, so I can't listen to it at, like, 2 times 5 speed like I usually do. So I have to slow it way down. Oh, I don't know. I mean, I love Paul Hawkins, so I want to read it. And it was Peter's book club book, so I'm going to finish it. But I'm not loving it. But anyway, so I want to finish that tonight. So... yeah. And then tomorrow, Alex and I were just talking about our schedules for this week. So I have a dental appointment on Wednesday of my deep cleaning. And then Caroline and I are doing, but that's early in the morning. And then that afternoon, Caroline and I are doing Cousin Fun Day. Tuesday, I have individual therapy. Alex has an appointment Friday afternoon. He has nothing Friday night. Thursday, he has a girl's birthday party. Saturday, he has 2 Christmas parties. One's with somebody that I know, and one was with somebody that I don't know. So he was like, would you want to go to the one? And I said, well, it kind of depends on where you go first. But it's really far away from here, so it's like hard for me to get an Uber home. But I might go to, that's the second one. So I might go to the second one, but I wouldn't go to the first one because I don't know them. And that's more of like a girl's thing. And Thursday night, like, is not even a couple spouse thing. It's just a friend thing. So then Friday night, he has nothing to do. And then Sunday, we have nothing to do. So, and Wednesday night, he has nothing to do. And Tuesday night, I'll probably go to a meeting with Tanya. I can't believe it. A week from Tuesday is my sobriety birthday. It feels weird. It feels weird coming down on, see, like, when I say that, like, coming down on 30 years, when I was talking about this the other day, it feels weird to say that. Like, I'm coming up on 30 years. I have a friend of mine that, he's, like, a year and, like, a month ahead of me, and so he just celebrated 31. And it's weird because, like, I mean, we've just been in this together for so long. Like, I mean, I see him, like, once a week, right? And, I mean, I know his wife and his kids. I mean, I remember his kids being born and stuff like that. And so, I mean, they're, like, in college now. And it's weird, you know? It's like, I don't think, like, oh, my God, he, like, has 31 years. I don't think of it like that. I just think, like, you know, we just, like, grew up in recovery together and sobriety together. I mean, he's, like, probably... I was going to be really nice, because, I mean, he looks good for his age. So if I'm going to be 53, he's probably close to 60. I was going to say 55, but I bet he's closer to 60. Isn't it weird that I don't know his age? But I do know his wife's age. And I do know that he's older than her. I think he's going to turn 60 this year. Anyway. Yeah, but like, he's celebrated 31. And I'm like, I don't know that it doesn't feel like that weird to me that he, you know what I mean? Like, I think that's great. I think it's really cool that he celebrated 31 years, you know, but like, I don't know. It's like, it's weird to think about it in context, but not to, and there's other things that are going on right now that are making me really think about coming up on 30 years. But I mean, I'm very proud of myself, you know, but I was talking to my dad the other day, and my dad calls me Pete, and he goes, Pete, can you believe it's been 30 years? And I'm like, I mean, live it, Dad. And he started laughing. He's like, it's been 30 years. He was like, you know, when I think back on like what it was like before, I think that's this thing that's hard, right? Like, my dad and I were talking about it, and my dad was like, you should be so proud of yourself. He's like, I'm so proud of you. It's almost kind of like that first year, as cloudy as it is, there's like vivid moments, right? Especially like in treatment, there's some very vivid moments. And the bad things that happened before, I don't know that necessarily when they happen, because a lot of them, they happen when I was in a blackout or whatever, but like the dealing with them is kind of vivid before. The having to like talk to my dad about it or whatever is kind of vivid from before, or talking to other people about it. But then there's like so much good that's happened, and I mean, all the people that I've met, all the friendships that I've had, all the opportunities I've had, you know, I mean, it's kind of strange in all honesty. Like, I've been on YouTube for just a little bit over 8 years at this point. I mean, I've been sober for almost 30 years. So you're talking 22 years I was sober before I got on YouTube, right? I mean, that's really a lifetime. 22 years. Let's run. I think I started in May, my BookTube channel, so it'll be 9 years in May. So let's say 21 years. I was 21 years sober before I got on YouTube, right? 21 years is like a really, really long time to like be sober before getting on YouTube. Like, it's crazy to think, you know, that there are people that are, you know, just starting YouTube at 18 or 21, and I was 21 years sober, you know, and they're starting TikTok or YouTube careers and all this kind of stuff. But anyway, I mean, it's cool that I did at that age, but I never thought, I mean, I had a whole life. I had 2 whole relationships before I ever got on YouTube, long-term relationships with people that I thought I would spend the rest of my life with. I had a whole other career, you know, 13-year career, and, you know, wrote a book, and lived a lot of different places. But in my sobriety, I mean, you know, I've had 3 wonderful relationships that, you know, 2 of which didn't necessarily end great, but they were great guys, and I learned a lot from them and had a lot of really good times with them. I've had a lot of friends that have come and gone, you know, and I've had been to a lot of places, taken a lot of trips, you know, had a lot of great meals, a lot of laughs, a lot of tears, leaned on a lot of people have leaned on me. It's been a good life, you know. When you get to the point of being sober 30 years and you're 52 years old, it's like, it's really the majority of your life, except for your youth, that you were sober. So it's weird. It's like, my battery just went to the halfway mark. So it's weird because it's like, I've been sober pretty much my whole life, you know? I think one of the greatest blessings I ever had was that my mom got sober, you know, 6 months after I did, and that she and I were able to celebrate a life of sobriety together, and you know, have that together and speak the language of recovery. And that was such a highlight, you know, in those years, especially the early years when we were really kind of figuring things out together, not going to meetings and stuff because we didn't really do that, but just figuring things out together, you know, just talking about it and talking about what we were reading. And, you know, I'd come over here, you know, after a meeting and have a cup of coffee, and you know, she'd be like, I'd be like, oh, we talked about resentment, you know, in our meeting tonight. And she'd be like, oh, you know, I just talked about that the other night. We talk about resentment or fear, or we exchange prayers with each other, or talk about, you know, just belief systems about things in the world. Really got to know each other, you know. It's sometimes weird to think about that like I had a whole entire, like, you know, I didn't even start my vlog. So I started my drama channel in September of 2016. that New Year's was when I started my vlog channel. So at the end of this year will be 8 years that I've vlogged. Going into, oh, the battery is dying, going into my 9th year. It's crazy to think that, I mean, it seems really long that I've been on YouTube for 8.5 years, but at the same time, it seems rather short too. But I'm grateful for the journey, and I ain't going nowhere. I ain't going nowhere, as you know. So, okay, I'm gonna get off here now. I hope that you guys are having a because it's dying. I don't want to get another battery today. I hope that you guys are having a magically amazing Sunday, and if nobody else has told you this today, I love you guys. I hope that you have a fantastic beginning to your week. The battery's dying, so I just want to say bye. Love you guys.